Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Busted to Build. I'm Kurt. Today we're working on the turbo truck again. Surprise, surprise, but we're getting it done. So, got a little bit of work done behind the scenes. I made myself a little bit of a little restrictor. I wouldn't call it a restrictor, you know, a thing to allow me to pull most of my air from up behind the headlight, hopefully. So, I'm just made that out of some diamond plate. Just working on doing some more of my TIG welding. It's ugly. But basically I can make this piece stick to this piece, so that's where we're at right now. That'll keep getting better. A little overflow tank here for the radiator. It's got a little sight glass on the side of it, but you pretty much need a light to see it. And got the hose run over it for that. I'm not sure if I got anything else done here under the hood really. I think that's about it. I did just kind of snap my fender liners in, so those are in just temp. Trying to space stuff out and see how much room I got under the hood here. But today we're going to be getting my transfer case in there, and then we're also going to be getting my throwout bearing put in. So I got my adjustable throwout bearing here. You can see it's threaded there, and so basically you can thread that on to set the depth of your throw, and then there's some roll pins that you drive down through here and come into the bottom of it there, and that's what holds it stationary, I guess. Don't seem like the greatest of designs, but they make it, so you'd think it works. So we're gonna find out. But anyway, so right now I gotta get the transfer case out of the white truck and the transmission. We're gonna get our throw out there just right for the clutch, and then our fresh rebuild on the passenger drop 241 that can finally go in there too. So we're just getting closer and closer to having a running and driving truck. So right now we've got a running and rolling truck mostly. So anyway, stick around and we're gonna get this knocked out. I got the transmission out, and this is my old setup here. I don't know anybody that watched some of my older videos when I set this up. I molested my shift fork here quite a bit to try and get this outfit to work. So, and it does work. I mean, you guys have seen me drive the truck in and out and stuff, but I don't have enough throw all the way down at the end of my travel here. So that's what we're looking to fix. So we got the adjustable throwout bearing. I'm going to put the original fork back in this too, just an OEM fork, one that I haven't cut up and welded back together 100 times. On this one, I must have tried to repair this in here. So where the pivot goes on these forks, this will actually break right here on this pivot. It'll crack apart, and it looks like I welded that, and it must have been starting to crack. But so now I just got a couple humps in here, and it's supposed to be just nice and smoothed out so it can pivot on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a different fork in here, so that way I don't have to worry about that, because it's got quite a squeak to it. And I didn't grease this or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's coming right from there. This thing's walking on that pivot a little bit when the clutch is disengaged, so it's just sitting kind of rattling just enough to catch a squeak out of there. So that's annoying. Gonna get that taken care of. But transmission's out. There's the 208 that was in it. You did good, 208, for what we had to do, just moving it around the yard and stuff. But now we got the 241 here, so happy with that. We'll get that in once we get the transmission done. Hopefully this thing will be done as far as the transmission and transfer case today. I'll have them in and mounted for good, and then we can work on you know, finishing up the rest of the drive lines and all that stuff, shift linkage. So we're picking our way at her here, but anyways, this is what we're dealing with right now. So I've got the fork ordered. I'll have that in a couple hours, and then we'll be able to get back to it. So, but yeah, it's just nice to go back and appreciate all the work I've already done when you get back into something. So it looks like my valley cover must be leaking up top here. I've got some oil coming down right here, down on the starter there. So I do believe that's coming from the, say, the valley cover. I don't see that my cam sensor or oil sensor here is leaking. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking with that. Yeah, so we'll have to get that fixed up too. I don't want to be puking all over the place. So, but this is where we're at. I'll get back to you when I get the fork here. Hey guys, it's next morning and I got a working clutch. I'm sorry I didn't get any of that on film for you. Apparently my SD card was no good there. So I'm going to kind of just give you a rundown on how I got it all going. I showed that you could adjust that throwout bearing. It was just threaded. So behind the threaded part, I cut this spacer that was about half of that thing's adjustability, and then I put it back in, and then I took some measurements from there and was able to get it set just how I needed it, just kind of off of this, and then I had to adjust it out a little bit further, and then I got it working. So let me show you that here real quick. Let you guys check her out here now. Can't see much of my footwork down there though. So, yeah. But anyways. Then we got good brakes too. So there she is, all working like. And so then I got some more parts here in the mail for it. The old Amazon special oil separator here. My catch can. Get that guy outfitted somewhere under the hood here. So basically, because I've got a forced induction unit, I'm going to get rid of my crankcase ventilation, and so basically my crankcase is going to vent into this, and there's going to be both air and oil mixed in with it, and so this is going to separate them, catch all the oil down in here, so that way I'm not puking oil out of this motor or anything like that, and it can vent properly. So there's that. And also I got some rear shocks in for it. These sweet looking Bilsteins. So we'll get those into her and keep pressing on right now. I'll get you under the truck too, and I'll show you everything installed under there. Got, like I say, the clutch all figured out and transmission back in, and then I put my 241 on it too. So anyways, that's all on there, and I got to get my drive lines made for it now. So the rear, I got to get a new tube on it and extended it like 6 inches, but we'll get you under there and show you all that. Here's the underside. And this is what I'm talking about. You got to get like 6 inches added to the tube of this shaft here. So we'll have it all rebuilt with a new tube and balanced, new joints and all that. So this truck, I explained in the earlier videos, was bought out of the salvage yard. So somebody come in and whacked her with a loader right there. But there's my 241 onto her. Looking all nice and fancy. I got all my hardware in for my links and greased up now. So we're all grade 8 through there. I got all my bracing done up. That's all set to go. Transmission back in. You can't see any of my beauty in there with the throwout bearing and the new clutch fork and all that, but it's in there. And then right here, I left myself just a hair of adjustment too. This is a hydraulic clutch, but anyways, I just got it adjusted so that way I've got just a hair here. You can see this gap, and I've got these studs double nutted, but this gap's my adjustment here. So if I feel like I need to have a little more throw, I can tighten this down, or if I feel like I need a little less, I can back these off and then let this out just a little further. And I've done that with my other truck too. It just helps down the road, because if you get that thing set once and everything's perfect, and then you drive it some and things kind of settle in, well, then you got to go back in there and adjust it again. So I like to leave myself some adjustment right here at my slave cylinder. So, but yep, so that's all together now. And then I got my shocks I'm going to get back here, and looks like they're going to work out pretty slick. So I like the shine on them already. Oh man, bring on the shine. So, but yeah, that'll go right down in there, and then I'll have to make a little outfit right there for it to mount to. And then over on the driver's side, we're going to go on the back side of the axle, and it'll get right in there. And then I'm going to make something up there. So I'm not sure about that guy yet. He's kind of hanging out in no man's land, so we'll get that figured out and I'll put on there. So, but yeah, then we'll have some shocks on it. So we're knocking out the laundry list on it. I've got a tailpipe for it, so I'll get the tailpipe on it at some point. I want to brace all this exhaust probably, so that way this isn't all just hanging on the downpipe out here. And I'll probably brace it off the transfer case right here or something. That's what I'm thinking. But otherwise, I pretty much just got to tackle the steering after all that. This is just black pipe on here for just getting it set up temporary, and I'll get some DOM on that. And on that, some new joints in it. And this thing technically I think could be ready to go down the road after that. So I probably got more I'm forgetting, but we'll get it all figured out before we get rocking and rolling. So if you want to stick around, and I'm sorry. Don't stick around for that. If you want to stick around, we're going to get some more work done on this thing, and sooner or later it's going to go down the road, so stick around. Thanks. Here we got our shock mounts all finished up. So that right there is the one on the front side of the axle, the passenger side, all hooked up. And over here on the driver's side, we're not hooked up yet. Let me get this light out your way. So, but that's what we got out of the ordeal there. Is that nice little guy. So anyways, just gotta get the shock bolt to dump once that cools off. She's pretty warm yet, but like I say, that was kind of hanging out there in no man's land. So I got this mount here all built up for it. I think that'll be plenty sturdy for it. So let that cool down, like I said. That's how I turned out right there. I'm pretty happy with that. So anyways, get this last shock bolted up and be on to the next thing. Alright, it's a new day in the shop, and I've got a tailpipe on now. Get some of my own hanger in here. It's not the fanciest, but it's pretty stout. So I got rod welded up on the frame there, and then a hanger here, and just some hairpin clips to hold my hangers in. So got that going on there, and then another hanger right here. And another hanger right here, so that's the factory hanger right there. Back on this one I did the same. I welded a rod up on the frame, used a hanger for it. And then up here I did like I said I was going to, and I put a little hanger here off the transfer case, so that's going to help hold all this front section of pipe in one piece with the engine as the engine moves. So ideally everything past here should be able to flex. But this here, I want the downpipe to be held as sturdy as possible. So this is what's kind of hopefully supporting the downpipe a lot. Is going to be this guy right here. So, but yeah, I just got that little brace that would normally go from there up to the motor. And then I got a little piece of pipe bent up, run up there to a bolt I welded on that. And then another hanger, and just bent up a rod for it there. So that's where that's at. So transfer case is in and all that good stuff. So you see my drive shaft dilemma right there. Need to add about that much to that guy. It's kind of a simple removal for this. Only got to do that to pop the drive shaft off right now. So it's pretty simple. But otherwise, we got our shocks in, both of them, the front and rear of the axle all bolted up, so that's what they look like there. But without any further ado, let me get it on the ground here, take a listen to it with this tailpipe. Alright, got you guys set up right at the tailpipe here. See if you don't blow over. Well, that thing makes some noise. I like that. Might have to tone that down a bit more. I did not think it was going to be quite so intense there, so I don't even know how the mic picked that up, but right here in the shop, I wasn't even over there at the tailpipe. I was in there revving it. Man, that was wicked. So anyways, we'll see what that comes to, but we're getting at her here little by little. We got to just keep punching away, punching away. It's kind of that small, tedious stuff that we're working with right now, so trying to get all that stuff done. But now that I got the transfer case in there and transmission all set and the clutch is good to go now, I run it around the yard just a little bit the other day, just kind of back and forth, but now I gotta find somewhere in here that I can get my transfer case shifter. So it's got to go on the right side of my transmission shifter, so we'll get something figured out for that. In my array of never-ending parts here, I do have a shifter assembly, so I'll just have to get it all kind of figured out there, and I'll probably kind of integrate something into this right here. This is my little shifter boot panel cover that's going to go over that ugly hole I lopped in that some time ago, so that'll cover that up. So anyways, we'll get transfer case shifter maybe kind of integrated into all that, or not, who knows. I'd love to tell you that every time I work something out in my head it works A1 and I don't ever have to re-engineer anything ever again, but it's typically not the case, so whatever, it'll be what it is when it's done. So but pretty impressed with this old girl here. There's not a whole lot left on the list to do. We got drive shafts, tie rod ends, sway bar, whether I choose to run one or not, so I'm likely gonna probably have to put one on it. But anyways, under the hood though, she's about wrapped up. I don't think there's a whole lot else that I'm waiting on parts or anything like that. I think this is kind of a done deal under the hood here. I do have some line locks for it that I got to figure out where I want to mount here, probably on the firewall or close to the master cylinder, and that'll just give me an electronic parking brake, kind of, sort of. It's not a long term, obviously. If you leave the line lock on and you walk away from the truck, it's only a matter of time until the line lock kills the battery just from it being on. So it's not permanent or anything like that, but it'd just be nice if I'm using the winch or anything like that, or he's got to run into a store or whatever, Then you just hit that real quick. I am gonna outfit this with an actual mechanical parking brake too, so all the cables that came off the donor truck here, those were all in great shape. So I still got all the cables to run for it that I saved, and so I'll just have to get that all working one day on it. But yeah, it's just a process. You guys know, you've been following along, or you haven't been, but I appreciate any support that you've been giving me. So just stick around, stay tuned, and we'll see what we can get done.